He is GUC, the god of war of Great U, wielding absolute power over the royal court. Even the emperor has to tread lightly around him. But right now, he is just a broken man slumped in a wheelchair, doomed by the royal physicians to not survive the night. The entire capital is taking bets. Betting on me, the eldest daughter of the Duke of Wei, sent here as a luck-bringing bride. Betting on how many days it will take for me to become a widow. But what they don't know is that GUC's ultimate cheat code in life isn't his military glory. It's marrying me, because in this entire world, only I can transfer my own lifespan to him, just like topping up a phone bill. And all of this starts from the moment I stepped into this bridal sedan. The Duke of Wei's family is utterly heartless. How could they marry off their own flesh and blood to a dying man? Shush, that is the Grand General of the Hussars. He's just in a poisoned coma. This is a blessing marriage to wake him up. A blessing marriage? Looks more like a funeral march to me. The whispers of the crowd grew more frequent, yet their voices dropped lower and lower. I had literally just transmigrated, and now I'm forced to be a superstitious bride for a human vegetable. System binding successful for host Tang Zhao. Current lifespan balance, 10? Wait, what's the unit of measurement? Are we talking years or months? It is 10 months. If you want to survive, you must complete the missions. Mission: awaken the male lead, GUC. Reward: extra lifespan. Hold on, I just heard this cannon-fodder guy is in a toxic coma. But I don't know the first thing about curing poison. It is simple, just transfer a portion of your lifespan to him. Wait, what? I have to pay out of my own pocket? This is a massive rip-off. I don't know how much time passed before the sedan finally sat down. The matchmaker practically shoved me into the wedding hall. As I looked up, I immediately locked eyes with the man who was about to drain my lifespan. GUC sat slumped in his wheelchair. His eyes were shut tight, and his face was as pale as a sheet of paper. He really did have the face of a dying man. Target acquired. Do you wish to transfer lifespan? Yes, just do it. Let's transfer 1 month first, just to test the waters. Deducting 1 month of host's lifespan. Transfer successful. Congratulations, host. Reward granted. Remaining lifespan balance, 20 months. It stung like crazy to lose that month, but realizing I still made a profit in the end, I finally managed to keep a straight face. Suddenly, Zhao Wei, who had been staring at the wheelchair, let out a loud gasp. The master's eyelids, they just twitched. The princess consort of Zan, seated at the head of the hall, was overwhelmed with joy. Throwing all royal etiquette out the window, she rushed forward and grabbed her son's hand. Yuan Yi, oh, my precious boy. Can you hear your mother's voice? But the man slumped in the wheelchair, merely furrowed his brows, and then fell deadly still once again. Not a single guest in the hall dared to breathe. The princess consort was so frantic that tears welled up in her eyes. Your Highness, the young madam is truly our lucky star. The young master moved the second she walked through the door. Why don't we have the young madam step closer and speak to him? Oh, yes, absolutely. Come here quickly, you good child. Hurry up and check on your new husband. Look at the crazy look in the old princess's eyes. She definitely wants to suck my lifespan dry. I was dragged forward, forced to get closer to that wheelchair. I gotta admit, my vegetable of a husband is actually pretty hot. Would the host like to continue transferring life points? Yes, transfer. Let's give him 5 points this time. Confirmed, deducting 5 life points. Remaining life points, 15. A pleasure doing business with you. Just as I was clutching my chest in pain over the lost points, those tightly shut eyes on the wheelchair suddenly snapped open. Caught completely off guard, I found myself staring right into a pair of icy cold eyes. He looked like he wanted to eat me alive. It scared the living daylights out of me. I quickly looked away and played innocent. Oh, my dear son, you're finally awake. Mother arranged a marriage for you. Marrying to bring good luck actually worked. GUC didn't say a word. He just coldly swept his gaze around the room, taking in the festively decorated wedding hall, before his eyes finally landed on me. Dude, what's with that look? I'm your literal savior, you know. Even if I do charge a fee for it. Let's proceed with the wedding ceremony. I watched as he gripped the armrests. The very man the royal doctors swore was at death's door actually forced himself to stand straight upright in front of all the guests. Holy crap, didn't they say he was about to drop dead? Isn't the effect of this lucky marriage a little too ridiculous? GUC was tall and imposing, and the bright red wedding robes made his fierce aura even more intimidating. The moment he stood up, the whispering crowd in the wedding hall instantly fell into a dead silence. Damn, 5 months of lifespan works this well? If I knew that, I would have just given him 1 month. He'd probably still be able to stand, right? What are you spacing out for? The auspicious hour has arrived. The bride and groom shall bow. Just like that, holding onto the red silk in a daze, I bowed to heaven and earth like a puppet on strings. He kept his back perfectly straight the whole time. How did he look anything like a patient who just woke up from a coma? He looked more like a general inspecting his troops. Next thing I knew, I was stuffed into a palanquin and carried to the bridal chamber. By the time I snapped out of it, GUC was sitting in his wheelchair, lifting my red bridal veil. So, this is the lucky bride? I didn't expect her to look quite so. It's getting late, you should wash up and get to bed. Leaving those words behind, he pushed his wheelchair into the study next door. Miss, the master is leaving you completely in the cold. It's your wedding night, how can he leave you all alone in an empty room? Oh, I just want to take a bath and sleep. Feel wronged? Not a chance, not having to serve a husband, and getting a massive king-sized bed all to myself? I'm gonna wake up smiling in my sleep. During the tea ceremony the next morning, GUC was a man of few words. But he didn't skip any of the proper etiquette. The princess mother was very gracious. You don't need to be so nervous. If you need anything for your first visit back home, just ask the storehouse directly. Whatever you say, hubby. As long as the money is right, I don't care if you're disabled or just plain impotent. It really doesn't matter to me. I happily clutched the thick stack of banknotes my mother-in-law gave me, counting my money with a beaming face. But this great mood only lasted until I returned from visiting my maiden home. My stepmother, that two-faced duchess, specifically sent her trusted crony, Nanny in, dragging along two super flirtatious maids. This old servant greets the young madam. The madam was worried the eldest miss wouldn't know how to run a household, so she sent me to help out. These two are Coral and Jade. The madam trained them perfectly herself, and specially sent them over to serve the young master and young madam. Serve? More like serve him right into bed, if you ask me. Those two maids are throwing bedroom eyes everywhere, looking like they can't wait to sneak straight into GUC's room. If you're here to manage accounts, why bring these two little vixens along? Chu Yu has a hot temper, and she snapped instantly. We've got over 20 people in our courtyard. You think we can't serve our masters well enough? Miss Chu Yu, you shouldn't say that. The estate staff might be good, but they'll never be as loyal as your own maiden family. When the young master eventually takes concubines and bedmates, it's better to have our own people in control. This is also to help the eldest miss secure his affection. Oh, so my mother's idea is to have me find my husband a concubine the second I marry him? This is also His Grace the Duke's intention, for you two girls to be so hostile. Are you perhaps afraid they might get in someone's way? Furious, Chu Yu was about to step forward and get physical. But Chun Fong held her back firmly. Listen to Our Lady. Princess Consort, this is the Duke and the old madam's wish. The great Yu Empire is governed by filial piety. A gift from your elders cannot be refused. If you insist on driving them out, I'm afraid this label of being unfilial will be far too heavy for you to bear. Then naturally, they must stay. Chun Feng. From now on, these two are in your hands. Have them serve as second-class maids. Eldest miss, that goes against the rules, doesn't it? They were already second-class maids at the Duke's estate. Are they to be demoted upon arriving at the prince's estate? Logically speaking, dowry maids should be promoted by one rank. You might not know this, but the rules in this prince's estate are incredibly strict. My eldest sister-in-law, being the princess consort, is permitted to have 6 first-class maids by her side. Although I married GUC, I am merely the second son's wife. I absolutely cannot overstep my sister-in-law. 4 first-class maids is the perfect number. Furthermore, when I was suffering at the rural estate, I relied entirely on Chun Feng and the other 3 to loyally protect me. If even they don't deserve to be first class, on what grounds do these 2 newcomers get the privilege? Then, we will do as the eldest miss says. Since that's settled, Chu Yu, take Nanny and down to get settled. I'm feeling quite tired too. Watching Nanny Ann's dejected figure walking away, I picked up my teacup and took a light sip. Trying to plant spies in my room? Well, that depends on whether they even have the life to enjoy such a blessing. In the blink of an eye, 1 month has passed. I looked at the 14 health points on my system interface, my face completely full of despair. Chungfeng handed me a cup of tea to comfort me. Miss, please don't worry. The young master treats you incredibly well. No matter how much Faiqi and Shanhu try to seduce him, they still can't get anywhere near him, can they? I took a sip of tea, thinking to myself that we were completely not on the same wavelength. What I am worried about is my literal life, but they think I'm worried about losing his favor. Miss. My eyes lit up. They were about to pull out the big guns. I turned around and pushed open the window behind me. A gust of cold wind blew in. It's almost winter and Miss is already so frail. If the cold wind gets to her and she catches a chill, what will we do? I tipped my chin up, gesturing for them to keep their voices down. The four of us just peeked out the window, watching the scene unfold right outside the study next door. We could see everything crystal clear. In this chilly October weather, those two maids were actually wearing flimsy red and green gauze dresses, shivering all over from the cold. In this kind of weather, they actually dared to walk around in summer clothes. They deserve to catch their death of cold. If they do get sick, they'd better not drag Miss down with them. And make us waste silver on their medicine. The study is a restricted area. Without the young master's permission, no one is allowed inside. Sir Guard, I am here on the young madam's orders. To bring the young master some hot soup to warm up. The young madam also had me prepare a fox fur cloak. With strict orders that I must hand it to him personally. The guard in black turned and went inside to report. He came back a short while later. The young master won't see you. Please head back, you two. Oh, please, Sir Guard. Couldn't you just make an exception? If we mess up this errand, the young madam will punish us. Fei Kui even tried slipping him a piece of broken silver. But who would have thought, the guard in black instantly drew the blade at his waist. If you don't leave right now, my weapon won't show any mercy. The two maids let out a piercing shriek, and fled in absolute terror at the sight of the gleaming sword. Chu Yu gloated, totally thrilled. Those two were nothing but pretty faces, with absolutely zero brains, but Nanian, the one pulling their strings, is incredibly cunning. We have to keep our guard up. I grabbed a handful of 5-spice sunflower seeds, popped them in my mouth, and praised. Chun Feng's cooking skills are amazing. These 5-spice seeds hit right on the spot. It's all thanks to your guidance, miss. How would I have ever thought that you could roast sunflower seeds with spices? Chun Feng wasn't just flattering me. Here in Great Yu, the ingredients were plentiful, but spices were incredibly scarce. So the dishes they made looked fantastic, but severely lacked in flavor and aroma. As I snacked on the seeds, I watched Nanny Song clicking away at her abacus. Over the past month, besides eating, drinking, and sleeping, my most important task was meeting the managers of my dowry shops and collecting the rent. Miss, the account books themselves look fine. Which just means they doctored them carefully before handing them over. With so many dowry estates and storefronts, over a whole year. Profit isn't even 1,000 taels. They're straight up treating me like an idiot. Whatever, I'll just wait until I finish meeting the last manager today, and see what kind of nonsense he tries to feed me. It wasn't long before I saw Nanian leading a middle-aged man our way, his head bowed low. He hurried a few steps forward, and with a loud thud, fell to his knees. Prostrating himself completely on the floor, he cried out. Zhao Sheng, the manager of the commoner's cloth shop, pays his highest respects to the eldest miss. Please, save the 18 workers at the cloth shop. What is going on here, eldest miss? This lowly one is completely useless. This year, the cloth shop didn't just fail to make a profit. We suffered severe losses. We lost a whole 800 taels of silver. The shops on Jingyang Avenue are prime real estate. Other people would fight tooth and nail just to rent one. So how is it that, in your hands, it's losing money instead of making a profit? Zhao Sheng's crying abruptly stopped. He thought to himself, didn't Nanian guarantee that the eldest miss only cared about eating, drinking, and having fun? That she was completely clueless about everything else? But, after all, he had been a head manager for over 20 years. After that brief moment of panic, he recovered in a flash. We originally took on a massive order. But who would have known that half a month ago, the night watchman knocked over an oil lamp? That entire batch of goods was burned to ashes. We have to pay a compensation of 1,000 taels, but we don't have enough silver in the shop's accounts, so I must beg the eldest miss for help. The room fell into a dead silence. No wonder the previous estate manager handed over the money so willingly. It turns out, this was the exact trap they were setting for me. Since you all love to put on a show so much, then I'll play along right to the very end. Then tell me, 10 days ago, where did you get the money to throw a massive banquet and take in a new concubine? Zhao Sheng jerked his head up in sheer terror. I did that with absolute secrecy. How on earth could she know? Eldest miss, you must be joking. Thanks to the madam's profound kindness, this lowly one is already married. What concubine? Someone is definitely trying to frame me. Nanian was also caught off guard, seeing Zhao Sheng in such a blind panic. She immediately knew that this was more than likely the truth. She was absolutely furious, but she had no choice but to back him up. That's right, eldest miss. The wife in Zhao Sheng's home was a first-class maid by the madam's side. Even if you gave him 10 times the courage, he would never dare to take a concubine behind her back. Oh, so that's how it is. No wonder. I couldn't help but feel that there was a hidden meaning in those words, but for a moment, I just couldn't figure it out. If you won't confess, that's fine. Someone else will do it for you. Bring her in. We are completely ruined, Zhao Sheng. Why are you kneeling here? Didn't you say you were going out of town for business? This is the prince's estate. What on earth did you do? To provoke the people of the prince's estate? You crazy woman, how dare you spew such wild accusations? Get lost, I don't even know you. If you don't know me, then why did you marry me? Seeing things taking a weird turn, Changfeng quickly cut in. Are you absolutely sure he's the husband you married 10 days ago? I'm sure, the man I married. Obviously, I wouldn't mistake him. Do you have any proof? I do. He has a red mole on his inner thigh. Guards, drag him away and check. 2 guards in black answered the call. Manager and watched Zhao Sheng being dragged away with his mouth covered by the guards, like a stuck pig. Only then did he truly feel terrified. In less than 15 minutes, the guards brought him back, reporting to the young madam. This man indeed has a red mole on his inner right thigh. Zhao Sheng, are you still going to deny it after all this? Zhao Sheng froze for a long while, then suddenly snapped back to his senses. He scrambled forward on all fours. Have mercy, eldest miss. I know I was wrong. I swear I will be absolutely loyal to you. I will repay your kindness, eldest miss. Little Dao's mother watched the man who used to be so domineering towards her family, now begging and wagging his tail like a pathetic dog. She immediately started kowtowing without stop, begging the noble lady for justice. Little Dao's mother. I beg you, my lady, please give our family justice. Manager in, you are a senior servant by the stepmadam's side. This Zhao Sheng is a house slave, yet he secretly married a commoner woman. How do you think he should be punished? Answering the eldest miss. In my humble opinion, Zhao Sheng is far too bold and reckless. He must be severely punished to serve as a warning to others. Zhao Sheng's howling stopped abruptly, and he looked back in utter disbelief. With those words, my mind is at ease. Guards, drag him out and give him 20 strokes of the cane. 1, 2, 3. Thank you for your hard work, guards. Once this is done, Our Lady will treat you all to some drinks. The guards politely declined, but their hands struck 30% harder. Zhao Sheng, ending up in this miserable state. Are you satisfied? You are a smart man. Who is the real master of this household now? Who can actually save your life? Can't you see that clearly yet? Eldest miss. I want to confess. I want to report someone. I am reporting manager in. A servant overstepping her bounds to deceive the master. Eldest miss, he says he wants to confess. Shut your mouth. This treacherous slave, just to save his own life, would spew any dirty lie. Eldest miss, please do not listen to this villain's slander. Bring him back here. Speak. This is your very last chance. It was manager in. The storehouse never even caught on fire. Manager in told me to just make up some random excuse, so she could pocket all the silver sent from the estate. You ungrateful bastard. How dare you accuse me with your wild lies? The lady hasn't even spoken yet. How dare you overstep and speak for her? I was only looking out for the eldest miss's best interests. A lowly maid like you dares to block my way? Seeing this old hag blabbering on without end, whatever respect I had for my elders had completely worn away. Slap her. Nanny Ann didn't hear clearly and was just about to keep making a scene. Smack. She took a heavy slap right across the face. Nanny Ann saw stars, lost her footing, and crashed to the ground. Nanny Ann. Don't you forget, no matter how highly placed a servant is, you're still just a servant. How dare you act so insolently in front of the eldest miss? It suddenly dawned on Nanny Ann that this was no longer the Duke of Wei's estate. The one running the household wasn't the madam anymore, but the very eldest miss she had always looked down upon. Nanny Ann is getting old, and her mind is slipping. Guards, take her back to her room to rest, so she doesn't keep making a fool of herself here. This old servant takes her leave. Nanny Ann stumbled away in disgrace. The only one left in the courtyard was the violently shivering Zhao Sheng. Zhao Sheng. Do you know why, out of all the managers, I decided to target you? Yeah, the money I skimmed wasn't even that much. Could it be because I took a concubine? No, that's not it. Officials don't look into those things unless someone complains. I just don't get it. Or should I call you Song Sheng? Hearing the name, Song Sheng, instantly shattered his absolute last line of psychological defense. How could the eldest miss possibly know that name? That was the name the late madam gave me when she was still alive. I had completely run out of patience. The late madam placed so much trust in you. She promoted you from a lowly third-class servant all the way to manager. And this is how you repay your master? By changing your surname and serving her very enemies? I didn't have a choice. Once the late madam passed away, all of us dowry servants were either scattered or crippled. The new madam is incredibly ruthless. I would have been a dead man a long time ago. Eldest miss, I know I'm a treacherous, ungrateful servant. I don't even have the face to keep living. I begged the eldest miss to just put me out of my misery. Watching this middle-aged man sobbing on the floor, covered in his own snot and tears, I felt absolutely nothing. When stacked up against survival, loyalty really is dirt cheap. I'm not some government magistrate. And I don't have the time to listen to your hollow apologies. I'm only going to ask you one thing. Are you going to step out of the dark and serve me, or are you going to ride this sinking ship straight to the bottom? Eldest miss, you're really willing to spare my life? That completely depends on how useful you are to me. I will do absolutely anything for you, eldest miss. As long as you let me live, I'll do whatever you say. I assume I don't need to teach you what to say when you go back? Understood. It's just, what about Nanian? She's the new madam's most trusted confidant. If word of what happened today gets out, she won't get the chance to breathe a single word of this. Go back and get the real account books in order. Someone will come to pick them up in a few days. And remember, your miserable life is right here in the palm of my hand. Song Sheng nodded frantically, but before he even had the chance to swear his loyalty again, he got carried out. After finally dealing with that treacherous backstabbing servant, Song Sheng, I was in a fantastic mood. After all, there's absolutely nothing more satisfying than a hearty lunch after getting rid of a huge headache. In the dining hall, my dear husband in name, Guc, was just staring blankly at the table. The young madam cooked this herself. Young master, please wait just a moment. She cooked it herself? She spent the entire morning disciplining the servants, and she still found time to cook. Despite his doubts, Guc just picked up a military strategy book and started reading. I slowly sat down across from him. Sorry to keep you waiting, my husband. You must be absolutely starving, right? Not at all. I'm not that hungry yet. Guc genuinely wasn't hungry. People in the Great Yu dynasty only eat 2 meals a day. Wealthy families might snack on pastries to tide themselves over when they get hungry. But the common folk just have to endure it. And the army is even stricter. When rations run low, they might even survive on just 1 bowl of porridge a day. He had never seen anyone eat 3 full meals a day. I picked up a glossy, mouth-watering piece of sweet and sour pork ribs and placed it right into his bowl. This is a new recipe I've been working on. Have a taste, husband. It looks pretty good, but I wonder if this sticky, sweet-looking thing is actually edible. He took a hesitant little bite, and instantly, his eyes completely lit up. Crispy on the outside, incredibly tender on the inside. The sweet and sour balance was absolutely perfect, and surprisingly, it wasn't heavy at all. It was 100 times better than the bland boiled mutton at the military camp. What is this dish called? Sweet and sour pork ribs. And I also made this sweet and sour pork tenderloin, and a sweet and sour fish. I made them all just for you, husband. Watching Guc absolutely devouring the food, completely throwing his noble dining etiquette right out the window, Li was secretly worried he might be judged. Carefully peeking at my expression, I just couldn't help but smile, my eyes crinkling with joy. If you hadn't helped me gather that information and lent me your men, husband, I probably wouldn't have been able to handle those people. There's no need to thank me. Since you've married into the royal estate, it's my absolute duty to keep you safe. That was quite possibly the sweetest thing this icy blockhead had ever said. I seized the moment to make a tiny request. As for little Dao's mother and her family who got dragged into this, could you arrange for them to move somewhere else? After all, those vicious village rumors can literally get someone killed. You can just arrange it however you see fit. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Guc headed off to his study, perfectly satisfied to handle his official duties. Meanwhile, I treated myself to a wonderful, long nap. By the time I woke up, it was already getting dark outside. She walked in with a deeply serious expression on her face. Miss, this is the exact dowry list the old general personally drew up back when your birth mother got married. I gently took the list from her. It felt incredibly heavy in my hands. When I flipped it open, the pages were absolutely packed with countless treasures. Pearls and precious gems were just the tip of the iceberg. There were endless gold and silver storefronts. Too many to even count. The old general completely adored the eldest miss. He practically emptied out the entire general's estate for her. But after the eldest miss married into Duke Wei's estate, that prestigious estate turned out to be nothing but an empty shell. The eldest miss had no choice but to use her own dowry to keep them afloat. You mean to say, the Duke of Wei's estate is spending my mother's money? Not only that, after the first madam passed away, you were sent away to the country estate. The items listed on here, who knows how much of it that stepmother has embezzled. Those were left entirely for you, my lady. I instantly snapped completely awake and immediately flipped open the Great U Penal Code. Pointing at the very first clause, I read aloud, a woman's dowry belongs to her personally and her clan. My eyes lit up. Right at that moment, a ding sounded. The system issued its second quest. Save the cannon-fodder male side character system activated. Main quest. Reclaim your mother's dowry. Rewards. 100 pounds of potatoes plus 50 health points. Such a sweet deal actually exists? But this matter is extremely tricky. One single careless move. And not only will I fail to get my mother's dowry back, but my reputation will be completely ruined. I forcefully suppressed the urge to march right up to the Duke of Wei's estate, taking a few deep breaths to steady my temper. I still need to quietly wait for the right opportunity. For several days in a row, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. Just thinking about the mountain of gold that rightfully belonged to me being snatched away by others filled my heart with absolute, burning hatred. Chungfeng took a freshly boiled egg and carefully rolled it over my face to soothe it. My lady, your dark circles are completely showing. Let me soothe them for you. They are hosting a polo match today, and they are spending my money. Mine. In order to take back my dowry, I must first pull out those few embedded nails. Hasn't sent word out yet? Sent it. Our people intercepted their messenger pigeon. And exactly as you instructed, we forged the handwriting, swapped it out for a fake note, and sent it on its way. Excellent. The fish should be biting the hook right about now. The backyard of the commoner's cloth shop must be quite lively at this moment. This eldest miss is way too ruthless. Beating someone up like this. Once I get inside the estate, I'm absolutely going to file a complaint about her to the madam. You better shut your mouth. That living Grim Reaper is not the same person she used to be. If you don't want your life, I still want mine. Even from a fair distance away from the backyard, you could hear the noisy argument between the two people inside the room. Manager N waited for a moment. Not only did the arguing show zero signs of stopping, it actually grew more and more intense. Manager N frowned, and let out a heavy cough. The shouting came to an abrupt, dead halt. Madame Zhao came out, and seeing it was Manager N, she hurriedly put on an apologetic smile. Manager N, what brings you here? Please, come right in. So she actually beat you. The eldest miss truly knows absolutely no bounds. To think she'd dare to just beat up the madam's most trusted manager on a whim. Manager N, just look at my back. I took 8 full strikes of the heavy cane. If I hadn't reacted quickly, I would have lost my damn life. What the hell exactly happened? Did that forged account book of yours expose you? How would I ever dare? It was the eldest miss being completely unreasonable. The moment she saw the silver on the books didn't match up. She had me dragged down and beaten without a single word. She didn't listen to my explanation at all. Even when Manager N tried to calm her down, she slapped him right in the face. Then how did you get away? And what about the 800 tales of missing money? I told her I'd cover the missing money out of my own pocket. I promised not to touch a single penny from the shop. Only then did she let me go. Consider yourself unlucky this time. But remember, next time you do something, clean up your mess. Don't leave any evidence behind. Understood, I'll remember it. After giving his warning, Manager N turned and left the cloth shop. A servant waiting outside immediately handed him a note. He unfolded it, and the message on it matched Zhao Sheng's crying complaints word for word. Looks like I overestimated this eldest miss. She's just a brainless idiot after all. I was planning to go meet her myself, but now? There's really no need. Let's head back to the manor. We have good news to report to Madam. In the back courtyard of the cloth shop, seeing Zhao Sheng faking his injury on the bed, Madame Zhao lost her temper too, and went back to her own room cursing and swearing. As soon as she left, a guard dressed in black silently appeared right in front of Zhao Sheng, under the young lady's orders. I'm here for the ledger. Zhao Sheng scrambled up, shaking like a leaf. He rummaged through the cabinet for a while, before taking the real ledger he had secretly copied over the past few days, and handing it over to the guard. Flipping through the pages of the ledger in my hands, I silently did the math in my head. Beside me, as she was pouring tea, Chuyu gasped in shock. Profit of 745 taels. That's so much money. It's not that much, really. After all, our cloth shop caters to the rich and powerful. I stared at the ledger, figuring out exactly how to spend this newly acquired wealth. Suddenly, that familiar notification chime rang in my head. Weather warning, heavy blizzard approaching in 3 days. Temperatures will drop by over 8 degrees Celsius. Please stay warm. Winter here in Luoyang. If we don't have enough charcoal, people could actually freeze to death. Clear out the storage room in the back courtyard. Then go buy some extra charcoal and winter clothes. But miss, the manor has already prepared our regular winter supplies. Go inform the princess consort. Tell her to stock up on extra charcoal too. It's not enough just to keep myself warm. I can't just sit by and watch everyone else in the manor freeze. When the message reached Qingmo Hall, the princess consort's maid wasn't too happy about it. The fifth young lady doesn't manage the household, so she has no idea how hard it is. She just opens her mouth and demands more charcoal. Who's going to pay for all that? But my sister-in-law wouldn't send such a message for no reason. Go and ask around. Find out exactly how much charcoal Bidan Courtyard just bought. Tingchen acknowledged the order and stepped out. A moment later, she returned and reported. To answer your highness, the Bidan Courtyard purchased 5,000 caddies of charcoal. The young madam paid for it all using her own dowry money. 5,000 caddies. That is no small amount. It is enough to supply the entire manor for 2 months. Take my personal funds and buy 3,000 caddies of premium silver charcoal. Along with 7,000 caddies of regular charcoal. I would rather we stock up on more. And face soaring winter prices and shortages later. In an instant, the Prince of Zan's manor began purchasing massive amounts of charcoal, sparking endless gossip and mockery all throughout Luoyang City. However, 3 days later, a massive snowstorm completely sealed off the city. Chu Yu ran into the room, warming her hands by the stove. My lady, please don't go out. It's absolutely freezing out there. I just went to collect our monthly rations, and my hands and feet are completely numb. Weren't you going out to have snowball fights and build snowmen? Who would have thought it would be this incredibly cold this winter? While the bitter wind howled outside, inside the room, it was as warm as spring. I picked up the freshly simmered mutton, yam, and goji berry soup. I took a sip, feeling a deep, comforting warmth spread through my body. Has a bowl been sent to my husband? Yes, we sent it to the young master's study a while ago. I simmered 2 massive pots, so everyone working in our courtyard can enjoy a hot bowl. Meanwhile, in the study, there were 3 blazing stoves set up. GUC was reading his official documents while drinking the piping hot soup. Master, please pace yourself. You still need to leave room for lunch later. Miss Sha Mo has prepared sweet and sour pork ribs. Just pour me another bowl. GUC felt puzzled. How strange. It's the exact same recipe, so why does the soup from the main kitchen never taste as good as the one made by that maid, Sha Mo? In the afternoon, I sat by the stove, warming myself and admiring the snow. Dong Mei was beside me, happily eating sweets with a totally satisfied look on her face. When is this snow ever going to stop? Don't worry about it. Just eat your sweets. My eyelids gradually grew heavy. Just as I was drifting off to sleep, that voice exploded in my mind once again. Blizzard warning upgraded. Continuous snowfall expected for the next 15 days. Luoyang and the northern regions will suffer a severe snow disaster. Please take proper precautions. I snapped my eyes open. My sleepiness vanished in an instant. The heavy snow in Luoyang fell for 8 whole days. On the first day, the common people were thrilled and overjoyed. The farmers shouted happily, a timely snow promises a bountiful harvest. By the second day, people were bundled up in their worn-out, thick linen coats, braving the biting cold wind to sweep the streets. But by the 8th day, hundreds of thousands of refugees flooded into the capital. The heavy snow had crushed 7 or 8 out of every 10 houses. Casualties were countless, and the national treasury was completely empty. There was a massive shortage of disaster relief funds. Emperor Kangxi's face was flushed red. He coughed violently for a good while before stopping. My beloved Minister Yuan. Exactly how much silver can the Ministry of Revenue provide for disaster relief? 70 to 80% of the Treasury's tax silver is already gone. Even if I try my absolute hardest, I can only scrape together 200,000 taels. 200,000 taels? Even if hundreds of thousands of refugees only eat 1 bowl of watery porridge a day, that won't even last them a month. This is going to drive the poor people straight to their deaths. This humble minister has a plan. Why don't we temporarily delay the payment for the Northwest Army and divert those funds for disaster relief first? Standing at the front, Prince Ji Lu's eye twitched. Absolutely not. The soldiers in the Northwest are currently defending against the Xiongnu. If they don't get their pay, who will protect our homes and defend the country? The border military funds, unless it's absolutely necessary, we must never touch them. Let's just disburse the funds first, to get through this immediate crisis. After the morning court session ended, Ji Lu rode as fast as he could back to the prince's estate. Go, invite the fifth brother to the study for a meeting. The servant dashed off to fetch him. Guc came over the moment he received the message. Brother. You needed me? Ji Lu quickly gave him a rundown of what had happened at the morning court session. The Crown Prince's faction is trying to use the disaster as an excuse to cut military funding. They'll truly stoop to anything. Guc, the only way out of this is to raise the money for disaster relief ourselves. Tomorrow at court, I'll propose that the imperial court leads a donation drive. His Majesty is sure to agree. But our estate will have to take the lead. Go have a proper talk with your wife, and ask her to be understanding about this. Don't worry, brother. I'll go talk it over with her. Meanwhile, over in the Bidan courtyard, the charcoal fire was roaring. The maids were sighing over the charcoal prices outside, which had skyrocketed to 5 times their usual price. Thank goodness you had the foresight, my lady. You stocked up on charcoal so early. Otherwise we wouldn't survive this winter. I was curled up on the couch, studying the laws of Great Yu, the very husband who, for an entire month since our wedding, hadn't stepped foot in my room even once, made an unprecedented appearance. Well, how does my dear husband have the time to visit me today? What are you reading? I'm reading the laws of Great Yu, the section on divorce. The founding emperor was truly a wise ruler. If the spark is gone, you can just leave. The dowry and bride price all go straight back to the woman. There isn't even a cooling off period. It's incredibly efficient. The veins on Guc's forehead were practically throbbing. Any desire for small talk vanished instantly. I've come to discuss something with you, my dear. He painted this grand, tragic picture of the disaster in Luoyang, and I instantly knew exactly why he was here. After all that rambling, it just meant the state was broke. He wanted his own family to set an example and open our wallets? I was hoping you could take the lead in donating some silver. To set an example for everyone else. I wonder if you would be so understanding, my dear? Not a problem, I agreed in a heartbeat. My smile was so blindingly bright it actually left him stunned. The perfect opportunity I had been desperately waiting for was finally here. The next day at morning court, the heir to the Prince of Zan proposed the disaster relief donation. And this absolute nightmare of a job fell squarely into the lap of the mayor of Luoyang, Yin Wei. This is going to be a nightmare. We can't afford not to collect the money. And we certainly can't fall short of the goal. The disaster victims are relying on this money to save their lives. The advisor narrowed his eyes, deep in thought. This whole thing was proposed by the prince's estate. They'll have to be the first ones to step up. I just wonder, who's going to represent the estate? The princess consort or the heir's wife? Just then, an attendant rushed in to report. The wife of the general of the cavalry is here to see you. Yin Wei froze with his teacup halfway to his mouth. He scrambled out to the main hall of the government office. This humble official is the mayor of Luoyang. Greetings, fifth young madam. May I ask what brings you here today? On such urgent business? I am here to make a donation. Yin Wei and his advisor exchanged a glance. Young madam, are you making this donation on behalf of the prince's estate? No. As the young madam of the Zan prince's estate, the silver I am obligated to contribute has already been given to the heir's consort. Today, standing here, I represent only myself. A look of sheer astonishment flashed across Yin Wei's face. Then, what exactly does Miss Tang wish to donate? A maid, Chengfeng, stepped forward, carrying an exquisitely crafted sandalwood box. She placed it gently on the desk. With a sharp click, the golden padlock was opened. The advisor swallowed hard. Good heavens. Just the box and that gold lock alone. I couldn't afford them if I worked at the magistrate's office my entire life. The box opened. Inside, on gold-flecked red rice paper, the words supervised by the Imperial Household Department shone brilliantly. Yin Wei's throat tightened. Is this? I pushed the entire box in front of him. This is the inventory of my dowry. Everything written on it, I am donating to the state. All of it? But, this is a royal decreed grand dowry. Miss Tang, are you absolutely certain? If I record this in the official ledger, you won't be able to take it back if you regret it later. Taking back a charitable donation? I'm not that shameless. My lord, to me, this wealth is nothing more than icing on the cake. But to the refugees, it is an absolute lifeline, in the face of such a great disaster. Even though I am a woman, I want to step up just like the men of this nation. For our country, for our people, I want to do my part. A dead silence fell over the hall. Then, it was broken by a trembling, emotionally charged voice. Excellent, simply excellent. On behalf of the hundreds of thousands of refugees in Loyang, I thank you for your immense generosity, Miss Tang. This dedicated official, who had served the people tirelessly for 20 years, actually had tears in his eyes as he bowed deeply and respectfully to me. My lord, you flatter me. Disaster relief is a monumental and exhausting task. Your tireless efforts have not gone unnoticed by me, nor the refugees. Miss Tang, I will absolutely report your noble deed directly to His Majesty. Such incredible loyalty and kindness will never be buried beneath the snow. Ever since my dowry was moved into the estate, it has been sitting untouched in the storehouse. You may send your men to collect it whenever you wish, or I can have it delivered. I could never trouble you to do that. I will personally lead my men to collect it right away. He was so eager he could barely stay seated. After all, the sooner they got the funds and supplies, the sooner the refugees would be saved. My lord, please, be patient. There is one more thing I must tell you. My maid, Chung Feng, placed another sandalwood box on the desk. I took out a key and opened it myself, handing its contents over to Yin Wei. Wait, why is there another dowry inventory? Miss Tang, what is the meaning of this? I turned to the last page of the list, and pointed at the red wax seal. Do you recognize this seal, my lord? Naturally. It's the official crest passed down through generations of Loyang prefects. Once the seal was verified, I casually dropped a bombshell, one massive enough to leave everyone reeling in shock. I, Tang Zhao, acting on behalf of my late mother, the legitimate daughter of the Defender General and the first wife of the Duke of Wei, Lady Song, hereby donate her entire dowry. Long after I had left, Prefect Yin was still in shock. He slumped in his chair, staring blankly. What did you just say? How many taels? Converted to market value, Miss Tang has donated both her own and her mother's dowries, totaling 478,300 taels of silver. How is this a mere donation? This is half the national treasury, and out of that, Lady Song's dowry alone accounts for 400,000 taels. Prepare my carriage, I must go to the palace at once. While the outside world was turned upside down over this fortune, I was tucked away in a cozy pavilion, holding a steaming hot hand warmer. With snow this heavy, how could you just leave without a word, my lady? What if you froze to death out there? I did something massive today. My mother's dowry will be ours again very soon. Really? Who did you get to help us? Which noble family in Loyang has that kind of divine power? I didn't say a word. I simply raised a finger, and pointed straight up at the sky outside the window. Inside the imperial study, Emperor Kangxi was staring at that incredibly long ledger. His expression was complicated. Your Majesty, regarding the assets donated by the fifth young madam, I have already dispatched men to collect her personal share. But the portion belonging to the late Lady Song is still being withheld by the Duke of Wei's estate. This very list, I helped the old General Song review it years ago, no less than 30 times. I still remember it vividly. Since it has been donated, then it belongs to the imperial treasury. Why is it still sitting in the Duke of Wei's estate? The fifth young madam only possesses the ledger. If we are to secure the actual items, we'll need the Duke of Wei's cooperation. What are your thoughts, Minister Yin? I believe, our great Yu is governed by the rule of law. And the law clearly dictates that whoever rightfully owns the property, has the ultimate authority to dispose of it. Then we shall do exactly as you say. Handle it by the book. The Emperor had spoken. This blade has been successfully borrowed. Once I returned to my estate, Nanny Song stared at the empty box. My lady, did you truly donate it? That was 400,000 taels. I donated it, every last bit of it. I didn't keep a single copper coin. But my lady, why didn't we just march over there and take it back by force? Why let outsiders profit off of it? Are you crazy? If I go asking for it, that stepmother of mine could have easily made up any excuse to stall me. Madam is already 6 months pregnant, after all. If I had gone to demand my money back, she would have just thrown herself on the floor. And I'd be slapped with the label of an unfilial daughter. But things are different now. I've donated all that wealth to the state. So, the one marching up to Lord Wei's estate to collect the debt is the prefect of Loyang, and the one backing him is the emperor himself. My stepmother might dare to cheat me, but would she dare cheat the emperor? Lord Wei's estate has really messed with the wrong person this time. To willingly give up such a massive fortune, just to make Lord Wei's family suffer. This Miss Tang is absolutely ruthless. The official sedan chair came to a halt in front of Lord Wei's estate. The head steward of the front courtyard, Tang Wen, hurried forward to greet them. Please, come inside, Your Honor. Prefect, I beg your pardon. Our master hasn't returned yet, so I am temporarily in charge of the front courtyard. Please forgive any lack of proper hospitality, Your Honor. I am here today by imperial decree. I only need to speak with the old madam and the madam of the estate. Asking to see the ladies of the house. I'm afraid that's highly inappropriate, isn't it? What is inappropriate about it? The eldest daughter of your noble house, Tang Zhao, out of the goodness of her heart, has voluntarily donated all of her own and her late mother's dowry for disaster relief. His Majesty has issued a decree. Lord Wei's estate is ordered to fully cooperate with the asset auditing. I will send someone to inform the madam immediately. Meanwhile, in the inner courtyard, Madam An was sipping her ginseng soup, happily dreaming about giving birth to the male heir. Suddenly, there was a flurry of rushed footsteps. Nanny Zhao came sprinting all the way in, panting heavily. Madam, something terrible has happened. The eldest miss, she donated her entire dowry, along with the late madams, to the disaster refugees. Nonsense. If those refugees want anything, we'll just toss them some moldy leftover grain. That's more than enough to get rid of them. What does any of this have to do with our estate? No, madam, you don't understand. It's Tang Zhao, the eldest miss that you banished to the countryside. She donated everything, even her late mother's share. Well, I don't agree to it. What gives her the right to donate anything? A married daughter is like spilled water. Once those things fell into my hands, they became the property of Lord Wei's estate. Suddenly, a stern, elderly voice rang out. The fact that you would even say such a thing shows just how utterly ignorant you are. You're making an absolute fool of yourself, Aunt. Just look at how far Tang Zhao is overstepping. How dare she take things that belong to our estate? Since when does a woman's dowry belong to her husband's family? My mother taught me since I was a little girl. Once a woman gets married, all her wealth belongs to her husband's family. Is that not how it works? The old madam glared at Madam An's bulging pregnant belly, forcefully biting back her surging rage. Guards, confiscate the madam's keys. You don't need to involve yourself in this matter anymore. Just focus on resting and protecting that baby. Before Madam An could even process what had happened, the old madam led a massive entourage straight to the front courtyard. Moments later, a servant rushed in to report. Madam, it's terrible. The old madam gave the order, and they've taken away every single key and token for the entire estate. What did I even say wrong? I'm carrying the male heir to this noble house. How could my aunt humiliate me like this? Nanny Zhao, however, had far more foresight than Madam An. After explaining the whole situation to her, Lady An's tears slowly stopped. But what do we do now? All these years, I've been using it to support my maiden family. I've taken quite a bit from Lady Song's dowry. If the authorities find out things are missing, what then? I just hope the authorities don't have the dowry list. Meanwhile, in the main hall of the Duke of Wei's estate, Yin Wei pulled out the dowry list. This is the inventory of the donation made by the eldest miss on behalf of her late mother. It's all right here in black and white. I won't take a single penny more than what's written. But I absolutely will not accept a single penny less, either. After all, hundreds of thousands of refugees are still waiting for this money. You are absolutely right, my lord. It's just that it's been so many years. Many items have been damaged or thrown away. I'm afraid it will be quite difficult to gather everything on the list. I specifically borrowed extra manpower from the Ministry of Revenue to help out. Men, open up the storehouses, check off every single item according to the list. The heavy doors of the Duke's storehouses crashed open. The massive convoy of confiscation carts stretched on endlessly. Over at the grain shop on Zhengyang Street, the manager from Lady An's dowry was still dreaming of making a fortune off the national crisis. In just a few more days, grain prices will skyrocket. When we sell off our hoarded grain for several times the price, Madam will definitely reward me handsomely. You are so brilliant, boss. You'll definitely become the head steward in the future. Right as they were scheming, the advisor from the Luoyang prefecture office burst through the doors with a group of guards. By the order of the prefectural magistrate, we are here to confiscate this shop and all the goods inside. Please, sir, you must be joking. This is the dowry shop of the Duke of Wei's wife. It belongs to the An family. How dare you forcibly seize property belonging to the Duke's estate? Ha ha ha, what a joke. This shop is indeed the dowry of the Duke's wife. But it belongs to the Song family, not the Yin family. After the first wife, Lady Song, passed away, her estate was inherited by the eldest miss. And now, the eldest miss has donated all of Lady Song's dowry to the royal court to provide relief for the refugees. Men, move the grain. Sacks of rice and grain were carried out, piling up like small mountains on the street. The crowd of onlookers instantly erupted. Would you look at that? This rotten grain shop. Just the day before yesterday, they lied and told us they were out of grain. Turns out they were hoarding it all to drive up prices. They wanted to force us poor folks into a corner. You did great raiding them. Wait, officers, please. At least let me report this to Lady Yin first. You've been freeloading in someone else's nest for so long, you actually think it's yours. This is the first time I've ever heard that the whereabouts of the first wife's property has to be reported to the second wife. The manager's legs gave out and he slumped to the ground. Meanwhile, Advisor Qian turned around and cupped his hands to calm the angry crowd. Fellow citizens, the eldest miss is deeply kind and benevolent. She has donated her birth mother's entire dowry for disaster relief. I am under orders to collect this life-saving grain. The crowd roared with outrage. The virtuous reputation that the stepmother, Lady Yin, had painstakingly built up for years, shattered into a million pieces at this very moment. I knew that stepmother had a rotten heart. The moment she married into the family back then, she took the eldest miss left behind by the first wife and banished her to a country farm, leaving her starving and freezing. Locked away for 10 whole years. You're exactly right. They finally bring the poor girl back to the capital, only to force her into an arranged marriage in someone else's place. Sent her straight to Prince Zan's manor to ward off bad luck for a dying man. Thank goodness our young lady has a strong destiny. She actually managed to bring Prince Zan's young master back from the brink of death. Otherwise, wouldn't she be destined to live as a young widow right now? The crowd grew larger and larger, with the commoners gossiping back and forth. In an instant, dozens of different versions of the story were spun, but without exception, they all featured an evil stepmother mistreating the first wife's children. The magistrate's advisor tried to quiet them down a few times, but to no avail. He simply gave up trying to clear things up. After all, he completely agreed with them anyway. Once the officials had completely emptied the shop and slapped the official seal on the doors, they marched their men briskly off to the next storefront. As night fell, Yin Wei walked over. How are things looking? Out of breath, the Ministry of Revenue official hurriedly gulped down several mouthfuls of tea. Once he caught his breath, he said, "We've pretty much finished the inventory. The head official is just waiting on the final tally of the missing valuables." Yin Wei snatched the list from him. Just these missing items alone would be enough to buy a massive estate. Right in the most prosperous district of Luoyang. Yin Wei scrutinized the list closely. The more he looked, the more suspicious it got. This interlaced agate and ruby gold hairpin. Why does it sound so familiar? Oh, I remember now. At the Plum Blossom viewing banquet a few days ago, the Vice Minister of Rights, his wife, Madame Yin, was wearing this exact same piece. I remember spending every last penny of my secret savings trying to find a hairpin just like it to make my wife happy. Staring at the full 5 pages of missing valuables, Yin Wei instantly understood what was going on. Manager Tang, how do you plan to explain these missing items? My lord, it's been so many years. It's only natural for a few things to go missing over time. Natural, my ass. This isn't just misplacing things. This is blatant theft. It just happened to go missing, right into the hands of the stepmother's maiden family, right? Let me tell you. This first wife's dowry now belongs to the National Treasury. Every single item on this list. If you've stolen or hidden even one piece, I will absolutely charge you all with grand larceny. Terrified, the manager scrambled away, stumbling over himself to report back to the inner courtyard. Madam, disaster has struck. All those valuables you sent to your maiden family, the prefect of Luoyang has tracked them down. What? How on earth did he find out about that? My dear madam, it's blindingly obvious. Everything you sent back to your family were absolute top-tier treasures. Once your brothers and nephews got their hands on them, of course they paraded them around the streets to show off. I already gave them away as gifts. You expect me to just go and demand them back? Seeing that the manager remained dead silent, Madame Yin knew that was exactly what he was thinking. I won't do it, asking for a gift back. I don't have the face for that. My brothers, sisters, and in-laws would laugh me out of the house. The prefect is watching like a hawk. Anything that is listed on that dowry inventory, he is going to confiscate every last piece. If you don't go get them. Just wait until the Duke hears all the vicious rumors spreading outside. At the mere mention of the Duke, Madame Yin was so terrified she instantly stopped throwing her tantrum. Sulking with grievance, she climbed into the carriage heading back to her maiden family. Meanwhile, in the front courtyard, when Tang Wen heard that the madam was finally willing to return to her family, he breathed a massive sigh of relief and politely greeted, "My lord, you've worked hard all day. Will you be staying for dinner at the estate?" As everyone knows, asking this is usually just a polite way to show guests the door. Then we'll have to trouble the steward. "Everyone. The Duke's estate is hosting us. Let's all finish dinner before we get back to work." That night, the main and side kitchens of the Duke of Wei's estate were working so frantically that sparks practically flew. They had to feed over 300 hungry officials. Meanwhile, my stepmother was standing right in the main hall of her maiden home, glaring at her family as they happily ate their dinner. Lady Anne was seething with rage. "Father, mother, you two certainly look relaxed. After such a huge disaster, how can you still have the appetite to eat?" Old master and smile vanished. "Why aren't you resting at home for the sake of your baby? Running back here in the middle of the night, screaming and shouting like this. What an absolute disgrace. If something happens to that child, do you not care about your honor and reputation at all?" "My reputation? I was pointed at and cursed by the entire city on my way here. My reputation is already completely ruined." What on earth happened? Zhao Wan quickly explained how the prefect of Luoyang had raided their estate today to confiscate the dowry, and how they were strictly ordered to return all the stolen wealth, recounting every single detail. "How dare she? I told you we should have just killed her back then, but you insisted it would be too obvious. You said it was better to throw her out to the country estate to rot. Well, look at us now. Not only did she survive, but she even married into the prince's estate. And now she's turned around and stabbed us right in the back. Are you sure this was that little brat's idea? If she really had that kind of capability, back during the southern floods 3 years ago, why didn't she pull a trick like this?" "Father, are you saying? I would guess that someone else is pulling the strings behind her. It must be Prince Zan's estate plotting all this. The prefect of Luoyang demanded that I hand over Lady Song's missing dowry. I brought almost all of it here to my maiden home. You need to dig it all out, right now, so I can take it back and get them off my back." "Zhenanang. Things gifted to your maiden family, since when is there a rule that you can ask for them back?" "Mother, do you honestly think I didn't try to bluff my way out of this?" But that wretched girl played a trump card. She actually handed the original dowry list straight to the prefect. Now they're holding that list, checking off every single item one by one. What am I supposed to give them? Just a couple of days ago, sister-in-law was parading around wearing my gold hairpin, and the prefect's wife saw her dead to rights. If you had just kept it hidden away, I could have easily brushed it off. Eldest madam and looked utterly mortified, and she frantically pulled the gold hairpin from her hair, hiding it in her sleeve. What's the point of hiding it now? We have to hand it all over anyway. Lady Anne was about to keep yelling, but a sudden, sharp pain shot through her stomach. "Ah, my stomach, it hurts so much." Eldest master in, terrified that something might happen to the future heir of the Duke of Wei and they'd get the blame, didn't even offer her a sip of water. In a blind panic, he shoved her right back into the carriage and sent her away. But the moment Lady Anne left, the estate steward came tumbling and crawling through the door. "Old master, eldest master, it's a disaster. The commander of the 5 wards, he brought his men and sealed up every single one of our shops. They've completely emptied out all the goods inside, too." Eldest master and was furious. He kicked a heavy pear wood chair across the room, pacing frantically back and forth. Which shops were sealed? Steward and kept his head pressed against the ground, completely motionless. Trembling all over, he replied, "All of them." "Excellent. The prefect of Luoyang truly leaves absolutely no dignity. For our own family, father. How are we supposed to survive from now on? Tomorrow morning, take everything Zhen Niang sent us, and parade it all the way to the prefectural office for everyone to see. Father, if we do that, wouldn't it be telling the whole world? That person has the dowry list? Who cares whether you admit it or not? Our only way out now, is to push all the blame onto Zhen Niang. It is the only way to save the Yin family." "You are right, father. My sister is still pregnant with the young heir. Duke Wei's mansion, for the sake of the child, won't have the heart to punish her too harshly. But what about Aunt? My sister is her blood niece after all, and Aunt is the matriarch of Duke Wei's mansion. If she finds out we pinned all the blame on my sister, I will handle your aunt." Some sacrifices are necessary. Old master and returned to his study alone, sitting in dead silence through the night. He wrote a letter, and handed it to his most trusted old servant. The loyal servant took his orders and left. It finally grew quiet, supported by her maid, the old madam, who had been praying all night. stepped out of the small Buddhist shrine, and a servant poured her a cup of tea. Old madam, although the madam's baby was saved. The doctor said she absolutely must not suffer any more shocks. Otherwise, the child, seeing that the old madam had no patience to hear more, the servant tactfully fell silent. Someone from the main family is here. They said the old master sent a handwritten letter, and insists that you read it personally. The old madam took the letter. With just one glance, her face darkened completely. You go back, and tell my dear brother that this is the last time. The old servant bowed and took his leave. In a fit of rage, the old madam hurled her precious porcelain teacup violently against the floor. Early the next morning, 20 carriages rolled slowly out of the inn mansion. To scrape together enough to repay my dowry, first madam and gathered all the women in the family. And sold off absolutely everything overnight. They even pawned her sisters-in-law's dowries, sending it all to the black market. First madam and gently touched the pearl hairpin in her hair. If she had not fought to the bitter end to keep it, even the very last memento from her late mother would have been pawned off too. Tang Jiao. You forced the inn family into this miserable state. I swear I will never forget this grudge. When they arrived at the prefectural office, the guards actually thought they were generous donors bringing charity. First madam enforced a smile that looked far worse than crying. I am here to return the valuables gifted by the madam of Duke Wei. The moment the guard realized she was from the family of the second wife who stole the first wife's dowry, he coldly spat out, "Wait right here," and turned on his heel. When Yin Wei heard the guards report that the family of the Vice Minister of Rights had come to return the goods, his eyes lit up. He threw on his cloak and strode right out. In front of the Luoyang prefectural office, it had only been about 15 minutes. But a thick layer of snow had already piled up on their umbrellas. A sudden blast of the freezing northwest wind blew the icy snow all over Madame Sun. Yin Wei walked out just in time to see this miserable display. He almost laughed out loud, but quickly covered it up with a heavy cough. May I ask what brings Madame in here? What business do you have with us? The old master found out that my sister-in-law actually stole the first wife's dowry to secretly subsidize her maiden family. He was absolutely furious and ordered me to take all the valuables and return them in full. So you are saying, the old master of your noble estate knew absolutely nothing about this? The Duchess of Wei truly shows such wonderful filial piety. It is just that an ordinary person would never have the luck to endure such a filial daughter. Please pass a message to the old master. Next time he accepts handouts from his daughter, he should not forget to ask if the things she took actually belonged to her in the first place. This damned prefect, how dare he humiliate our family like this? After the valuables were counted, first Madame and led her empty horse carriages and slunk away in complete disgrace. The commoners watching the spectacle could not help but step forward to ask, "My lord, which kind-hearted family came to make a donation?" It is still the fifth young Madame Tang from Prince Zan's manor. The second Duchess of Wei was so filial, she accidentally took the first wife's dowry to subsidize her maiden family. The Yin family felt so terribly guilty, they came specially to return it all. Hogging it all to herself was not enough, she even had to share it with her maiden family. Felt guilty, my foot. I do not believe for a second that the Yin family knew absolutely nothing about it. In the main courtyard of Bidan Yard, Chu Yu recounted everything that happened in front of the Luoyang Yamen this morning. As I listened, a smile could not help but tug at the corners of my lips. Save the cannon-fodder mail supporting character system. Second task, retrieve the dowry, has been successfully completed. Reward, 100 pounds of potatoes, already stored in your spatial inventory. 50 health points have been credited to your account. Meanwhile, inside the study, the two Gu brothers stared at each other in utter dismay. What exactly did you tell our sister-in-law? I just told her to start small to inspire others. Who would have thought? Guc did not know whether to laugh or cry. Who would have thought she would straight up throw an entire mountain? Inside Minghui Hall of Prince Zan's manor, the eldest sister-in-law, the heir's consort, looked at the 5,000 taels of silver banknotes she had prepared to donate, falling into deep self-doubt. Mother, my sister-in-law donated 470,000 taels in one single breath. Should we add a little more to our 5,000 taels? Even if we sold the entire manor, we still could not match 470,000 taels. Princess Consort Zan took a numb sip of her tea. Just let it be. She never in a million years expected that this daughter-in-law they brought in to ward off bad luck would actually be this incredible. The heir's consort nodded in profound agreement, and readied a carriage to head to the Luoyang Yamen. Your Highness, a massive crowd of commoners has gathered in front of the Yamen. They are all here to donate. The heir's consort looked outside through the window. So many people. Is that beggar also here to donate? He really is here to donate. Driven by curiosity, the heir's consort ignored everyone's objections and stepped down from the carriage. Standing outside the crowd, she took a closer look. In front of the Loyang Yamen, a temporary shed had been set up to block out the harsh wind and snow. A long line had formed in front of the shed. Wealthy merchants, and even local pig butchers, were all generously opening their purses. That was until a young beggar in thin clothes, his toes cracked from the freezing cold, stepped forward. "Are you really going to donate?" "Yes, I am. A true man always keeps his word. If I said I am going to donate, then I will definitely donate." This is what the 13 of his siblings managed to beg for, over the last 2 months. "Could you, please write all our names down?" "I can. What's your name?" "We forgot to give ourselves names. What does that character say?" "Tang." "Then our surname will be Tang." "Just right, the 13 righteous heroes of Tang." This deeply moving scene happened to be witnessed by the eldest sister-in-law who was passing by. Lady Ming's eyes filled with pity. "You clearly don't even have enough to eat or wear yourselves, so why are you donating your money to the refugees?" If even the 5th young madam of the Zan Prince's manor was willing to donate hundreds of thousands of taels of silver for disaster relief, then it's just a mere 100 coins. Why would we be reluctant? Instead of keeping it in our hands, it's better to donate it so everyone can survive together. The eldest sister-in-law was deeply moved. After donating 5,000 taels in the name of the Zan Prince's manor, she returned home and reported everything she had seen and heard to her mother-in-law, detail by detail. The princess consort of Zan pondered for a long time before finally sighing with emotion. Such pure hearts. Unity truly is strength. With this, why worry about the refugees not finding peace? Tell me, is our 5th young madam truly as the state preceptor and the common people say? A lucky star descended from the heavens? Lady Ming didn't quite know how to answer that, but the princess consort didn't need her to answer, simply rejoicing to herself. She even called Guc over to give him a firm warning. "You must treat her well. Do not neglect her in the slightest." Meanwhile, in the main hall of the Bidan courtyard, I practically choked and spat out the mouthful of tea I had just taken. A lucky star? Why don't they just go ahead and say I'm the goddess of mercy descended to earth? Actually, some people are indeed saying that. It's just not as widely spread as the lucky star rumor. Feudal superstition is simply unacceptable, my servant asked around. And it turns out these rumors were secretly spread by the prefect of Loyang. Without exception, they are all in your favor, while completely dragging the Yin family and the Duke of Wei's estate through the mud. I really couldn't figure out the hidden tricks of this ancient political arena, so I just couldn't be bothered to care. But even if I didn't care, Guc couldn't just ignore it. He was currently discussing matters with his eldest brother in the study. The prefect is doing this to secure an imperial title for our sister-in-law. Or perhaps an award from the emperor. After all, her disaster relief efforts this time have thoroughly and utterly offended both the Yin family and her own maiden home, the Duke of Wei's estate. That's exactly why Mother deliberately warned me, telling me to treat her well. Well, that's only natural. After all, used to have a... The remaining 3 words were forcefully swallowed back down under Guc's threatening glare. 3 days later, at the morning court session, after Yin Wei finished reporting on the disaster relief, Emperor Kangxi's face, which had been gloomy for half a month, finally cleared up like the sky after a storm. The heavy stones in the hearts of all the officials finally dropped. The disaster relief went so smoothly this time. Firstly, because His Majesty is wise and benevolent, treating all his people like his own children. Secondly, because all you esteemed officials have diligently fulfilled your duties. And thirdly, because the common people stood united, extending a helping hand. However, this humble subject believes, there is one person whose contributions are exceptionally outstanding. And who might that be? The 5th young madam of the Zan Prince's manor, Tang Zhao, the legitimate eldest daughter of the Duke of Wei's estate. I believe that such virtuous acts of loyalty, filial piety, benevolence, and righteousness make her a true role model for all women in the world. What do you all think, my lords? The court erupted into spirited discussions. Jiyu Lu, the heir of the Prince of Zan's estate, stepped forward. I second that motion. The heir truly doesn't shy away from nepotism when recommending talent, since she is virtuous and capable. Why should I avoid my own family? If she weren't virtuous, what good would avoiding them do? Beside him, the Crown Prince immediately stepped forward. I also second the motion. This was the very first time the Crown Prince and the Prince of Zan's estate actually agreed on something. After the morning court, head eunuch Zhou Zheng personally came to deliver the imperial edict. The The main gates of the Prince of Zan's estate were thrown wide open. I knelt at the very front, listening to that sharp, authoritative voice ring out. Tang Zhao, daughter of the Tang family, has forsaken personal wealth to uphold the greater good. Exemplifying both loyalty and filial piety, she is hereby granted the title of a second-rank county princess. Her honorary title shall be Zhaoshan. Respect this. After head eunuch Zhou finished reading the edict, his face immediately returned to its usual Buddha-like, beaming smile. Please rise, Your Highness the County Princess. His Majesty specifically ordered us to pick out some of your late mother's favorite belongings to leave with you as a memento. After the eunuch left, the princess consort of Zan took my hand, turned to the courtyard full of people, and declared, rules of etiquette must not be ignored. All of you, come pay your respects to the county princess. For the rest of the day, I was led around like a puppet on a string by the princess consort, offering sacrifices to ancestors and praying to the gods. We prepared for the celebratory banquet. It was a noisy, exhausting day of non-stop work. In the end, I collapsed face first onto my bed on an empty stomach. Meanwhile, over in the Minghui Hall, the princess consort of Zan was glaring at my stoic, deadpan husband. Before this, you found excuses to sleep in separate rooms, and I let it slide. But now that Zhaoshan has been named a county princess, all the eyes in Luoyang are fixed on her. If you keep sleeping apart, it's definitely going to raise eyebrows. And the crown prince's faction will absolutely impeach us over it. She and I were merely thrown together by an imperial decree. There is absolutely zero affection between us. And now, I can't even hide from her. There is absolutely zero chance of a divorce. Forget about that person in your heart. You two just weren't meant to be. I know. Watching her son's lonely, desolate back as he walked away, the princess consort secretly cursed the Prince of Zan out in her head. Guc walked all the way back to the Bidan courtyard, rolled up his bedding in the study, and carried it straight to the main bedroom. I was already sleeping like a log. His mouth twitched in annoyance. He placed his blanket right on the edge of the bed and lay down fully clothed. He laid there with his eyes wide open until the sun came up. But to his surprise, I, sleeping right next to him, showed absolutely no signs of waking up. I had a fantastic night's sleep. I rolled over 7 times, and suddenly felt myself pressing against 7 rock-hard, toasty warm things. I peeled my eyelids open to take a look. Oh my, was a gorgeous man. In my past life, I lived to be almost 30, and was single since birth. I had never even had a wet dream before. This was an absolute first for me in 2 lifetimes. I suddenly found the whole situation quite thrilling. Touching him high and low, I was having the time of my life copping a feel. Guc never expected that letting his guard down for just 1 second would end up with him getting groped all over. I didn't even spare his precious lower half. He immediately clamped down on the perverted hands assaulting him, and forcefully hurled me away. I was thrown flat right onto the silk blankets. What kind of host club is this guy from? Do you have any manners at all? Don't you know the customer is God? I furiously snapped my eyes open, only to be met with a pair of eyes glaring at me with icy rage. I froze instantly. Wait a minute, you pretty boy. Why do you look exactly like my deadpan husband, Guc? Talk about a buzzkill. Tang Zhao, open your eyes and look very closely. Who am I? Look like Guc? Sound like Guc? Even his anger is exactly the same. I gasped in sheer panic. Oh, crap. This isn't a lookalike, this is the real Guc. What are you doing here? If I weren't here, how else would I know what kind of completely filthy dreams the esteemed Miss Tang is having? It seems mother was right. I have been neglecting my wife too much. Don't be so impatient, my dear. Your husband will gladly. I scrambled frantically, trying to dive off the bed, but Guc grabbed my wrists and pinned me down beneath him. I couldn't move an inch. Guc, what do you think you're doing? What do you mean, what? Making my wife's dream come true, of course. I forced myself to stare right back into his eyes, but I caught a tiny flash of absolute disgust in his gaze. Oh, so you want to play a game of chicken with me, huh? Let's see who cracks first. Well, since my dear husband put it that way. Your wife completely agrees. It's getting pretty late. So hurry it up, hubby. Let's make this quick. I deliberately went completely limp, tilted my head, and ripped my collar wide open. The veins on Guc's forehead violently popped. Why wasn't she playing by the script? My dear husband, holding your wife's hands like this. You planning to do it all by yourself? I suppose so. That's a fun little kink too. Come on, hubby, hurry up. Guc gulped hard, his throat bobbing nervously, and finally, he muttered a curse. He rolled right off the bed, scrambled wildly to pull his clothes back on, and bolted out of the room. The very second he was gone, Song and the other maids burst right through the door. Seeing my clothes torn open and my eyes totally red, They were absolutely terrified. "My lady, are you all right? Did the master mistreat you?" Well, since the mood was already perfectly set, I just tipped my head back and started bawling my eyes out. Oh, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? My husband can't get it up. Nanny Lee, who was eavesdropping outside the door, dropped her jaw in absolute shock. The sky was falling. She took off running straight toward the princess consort's Minghui hall. "Your Highness, this old servant saw it with my own 2 eyes this morning. The 5th young master. He ran out of the master bedroom in an absolute panic. And there wasn't a single sound last night either. Surely her ladyship wouldn't just slander the young master for absolutely no reason. Don't just believe every rumor you hear. Go and fetch the 5th young master right now." Guc had just finished bathing when he was summoned to Minghui Hall. "Mother, why did you summon me? Your wife claims you cannot perform. Do you have anything to say for yourself?" "Cannot perform?" Mama Lee quickly stepped forward and recounted how Guc had fled in a panic that morning and how they hadn't even called for bathwater last night. She described it all vividly, under the intense, piercing gazes of the princess consort and Mama Lee. Guc's knuckles turned white from clenching his fists. He closed his eyes and took several deep breaths. "There is nothing wrong with me." "Then why did you run away in such a panic?" Guc remained silent. He couldn't exactly tell them that he still couldn't get past his own mental hurdles. Thinking of the news he had just received, he pursed his lips and said, "A great victory in the southwest. Duke of Wei is returning to the capital. I left in a hurry to handle the preparations." "So that's what it was. And what about your poison?" "It is stable for now." He himself did not understand what was happening either. Even though his condition hadn't improved, he was able to move freely as if he wasn't poisoned at all. Only the excruciating pain that lasted for 15 minutes every midnight reminded him that the deadly toxin was still deep in his system. "Then you should go back and clear up this misunderstanding with Zhao Shan. Do not make the poor girl feel wronged." Inside the Bidan courtyard, I was taking my time sipping some red date soup, casually admiring Guc's face, which was as dark as the bottom of a charred pot. "Leave us, all of you." Chungfeng and the other 3 maids didn't move an inch. "What? Are you deaf?" Seeing that the man was getting furious, I waved my hand, signaling for the maids to step outside. They are quite fiercely loyal to their master. But if their master keeps courting death, I am afraid they won't be able to protect you. I couldn't agree more. My dear husband, you clearly cannot perform in bed. Yet you stubbornly forced yourself to try, making such a massive fool of yourself. It's just a shame that such juicy gossip won't be easy to keep under wraps, don't you think? You actually think anyone will believe your nonsense? Have you ever heard a certain saying, dear husband? Rumors do not naturally exist in this world, but when enough people spread them, they become real. Peeved. A fading beauty, an impotent hero. What a tragedy. What kind of wild mountain demon was this woman? Every time she opened her mouth, it was about impotence and inadequacy. Even though the Great Yu dynasty was far more open-minded than the previous era, it certainly wasn't to this shameless extent. I came here today to explain what happened this morning. It isn't that I didn't want to consummate our marriage, I just had an urgent matter to attend to. I kept a polite smile on my face, quietly watching him spin his lies. The war in the southwest is over. Your father will be returning to the capital in May next year. You've dragged the Duke of Wei's name through the mud. Be careful, your father will surely teach you a lesson when he gets back. You are absolutely right, my husband. Father's journey back to the capital will be quite perilous. I'm just so anxious and worried. It really isn't the right time for us to consummate our marriage. Fine, then we'll hold off on the wedding night until the Duke of Wei returns to the capital. In the meantime, we'll sleep apart. You take the bed, and I'll sleep on the floor. Also, whatever you plan to do from now on, just let me know first, if you ever need a hand. Just say the word. I nodded obediently, and casually scooped him a big bowl of red dates. By unspoken agreement, we tossed whatever happened this morning right to the back of our minds. Now that the masters had made up, servants naturally buried the hatchet too. Sha Mo went right back to her old routine of brewing soup for the whole Bidan courtyard. But this peace and quiet only lasted 2 days, before someone started stirring up trouble again. Back when I donated all the estates and storefronts from my dowry, the new owners took over. And, of course, took all the people my stepmother, Lady An, had planted inside. Those shop managers and estate overseers, and kicked every last one of them right out onto the street. In the blink of an eye, these leeches were out on the streets, and they actually had the nerve to come cause a scene at Prince Zan's mansion. Manager and dragged along a whole crowd of elders, women, and children, kneeling right at the mansion's main gate. wailing to the heavens and drawing stares from every passerby on the street. Shut your mouths. Standing right in front of you is Princess Zhaoshan, personally titled by His Majesty the Emperor. Who dares to forget their place? Looking down from above at this ridiculous farce, I ordered them to keep it quiet. The moment the words left my mouth, the guards in black charged straight into the crowd and unleashed a flurry of punches and kicks on the middle-aged men who were howling the loudest. In just a matter of moments, the once deafeningly loud courtyard went completely dead silent. That entire bunch of fake crying lowlifes shrank back like turtles, not even daring to meet my eyes. It is not that I refuse to help you. I am even willing to take in refugees I have absolutely no ties with. Let alone all of you, who have toiled for so many years. Even if you lack merit, you have certainly put in the sweat. Your Highness is so merciful. You simply must point out a way for us lowly servants to survive. Since you are so sincerely begging for my help, I will give you two options. Option 1, whoever holds your indentured contracts is the one responsible for whether you live or die. Option 2, if you have truly decided to serve me, then go get your contracts back and hand them over to me. I will make my own arrangements from there. I had someone lead them over to the side courtyard and serve them some hot food and water so they could take their sweet time to decide. With their bellies full of food and water, those middle-aged men finally regained a little bit of color in their faces. That second option isn't bad at all. We can just pretend to defect to the princess, while secretly continuing to work for Madam. If this princess turns out to be easy to manipulate, we could even use this to get a grip on the prince's entire mansion. Stop daydreaming, will you? You know how insanely paranoid Madam is. If our contracts aren't firmly in her hands, do you really think she'd trust us? Besides, if we hand our contracts right over to the princess, our lives and deaths will be entirely at her mercy. You've done so many dirty deeds for Madam. Do you honestly think the princess would just let you off the hook? A servant who tries to serve two masters has no loyalty at all. Managerin was sharp, though. He saw right through my little open trap in a single glance. In just the time it took them to finish a meal, the very same group that had stubbornly refused to leave earlier all begged for their leave and scrambled right back to Duke Wei's mansion. Only 3 households were left standing in the courtyard. One had already secretly turned on Lady N and pledged their loyalty to me. And the other 2 were the only ones who actually had the guts to look me in the eye earlier. The white-haired man knelt at the very front. This old servant, Song Kai. Greets your ladyship. I am getting up in years and my eyes aren't what they used to be. So I didn't recognize you at first. But now, hearing that name, I gasped excitedly, Song Kai? Is it really you? How did you get so old? You have a wonderful memory, my lady. This old servant has completely failed the eldest miss. Song Kai was part of the dowry my maternal grandmother had specially picked out for my mother back then. Seeing his family of 8 shivering uncontrollably in the bitter cold, I immediately cut the reunion short. I had someone take them inside to get settled. Shortly after, I turned my attention to the other side. It was a middle-aged woman with a scrawny little man. The woman shuffled forward on her knees, past her husband. Kneeling on the floor, she forced herself to stay calm and said, "This humble servant, Yun Niang, greets your ladyship. You're not from the Song family. Why did you stay behind? I once had the immense honor of serving the late madam. I know very well just how kind and gentle she was. Since your ladyship is her own flesh and blood, you must be just as kind-hearted." Cut the nonsense. I wouldn't dare. I will tell the truth. The new madam is cruel and ruthless. Nowadays, the Duke's estate won't even give us our winter clothes. The masters live in luxury, while we servants are barely surviving. I just want to find a good master. I will work hard. I just want to make sure my family can eat well and stay warm. What can you do? I know how to keep the books, my lady. My father used to be an estate manager. He taught me how to do the accounting ever since I was a little girl. I will call out the numbers. You calculate. 15,369 plus 36,852 plus 365,289 plus 123,456. Almost the exact second I finished speaking, Yun Niang blurted out the answer. 540,966. All right. You can stay. Yun Niang and her family thanked me profusely before heading out. I collapsed onto the chaise longue, my back and waist absolutely aching. Even in my past life, working overtime every single day until dawn didn't feel this exhausting. This noble body of mine is just way too fragile. Chu Yu, take those 3 old hags from the west corner back to the Duke's estate. Toss them out. While you're at it, demand the indenture contracts for the families of Song Sheng, Song Kai, and Yun Niang. But, what if the new madam refuses to hand them over? Oh, she wouldn't dare. That baby in Madam N's belly isn't just her trump card, it's also her leash. As long as she wants that unborn brat of hers to become the heir. She can't afford a public scandal. I absolutely love dealing with people who care about their precious reputation. Chu Yu eagerly took the order and stormed off. Leading 7 or 8 guards, she barged right into the side courtyard. Nanian, along with Shanhu and Faiqi, were tied up tight like packed rice dumplings. They were gagged and roughly shoved into the carriage. With a massive commotion, the carriage sped off toward the Duke of Wei's estate. Meanwhile, inside Shengning Garden, the new madam N was drinking her pregnancy protection tonic. Hearing the servant's report, she slammed her jade bowl down hard onto the table. Oh, very well then. I haven't even gone to hold her accountable yet, but she actually has the nerve to send someone to my door. I might not be able to deal with her, but I can certainly teach a lowly servant a lesson. Please calm down, madam. The eldest miss has already been officially titled as the county princess now. You absolutely must not upset yourself over a mere servant and harm the little heir in your womb. Lady Anne's eyes were bloodshot with sheer hatred. Her reputation was completely ruined, and she had been stripped of her power to run the household. Right now, the child in her womb was her only protective charm. Inside the main courtyard, Lady Anne deliberately left Chu Yu waiting outside for a full hour. She finally put on the arrogant airs of the main wife and lashed out. What are you doing back here? A married daughter is like spilled water. She shouldn't just casually return to her maiden home, lest it set tongues wagging. I'm here on the strict orders of her ladyship, the county princess, to return these people to you, madam. Chu Yu clapped her hands, and the guards instantly hauled in. The 3 servants, their mouths violently gagged with filthy rags, tossing them like dead dogs. Straight at Lady Anne's feet. These 3 have sticky fingers. They have stolen the county princess's valuables multiple times, but out of respect, since they were gifted by an elder. Her ladyship found it inappropriate to punish them herself, so she has specifically sent them back to the duke's estate. To be dealt with by you, madam. Madam, I have been so wrongfully accused. I have served faithfully by your side for over 20 years. When have I ever stolen a single thread? The county princess is completely framing me. What do you have to say for yourself? May I ask you, madam? Will you choose to believe her ladyship, the dignified county princess, or this lying old servant? Naturally, I trust the county princess. Her ladyship said, as long as you handle this matter appropriately. She promises that absolutely no outsiders will ever hear of this. Guards, come here. Nanian has been utterly disloyal. Drag her away and lock her up in the woodshed. Madam, what about these 2 girls? Lady Anne looked down at the 2 young, beautiful maids, a sharp flash of absolute disgust crossing her eyes. They were sent by her own maiden family, which already made her incredibly sick to her stomach. Drag them away too. Seeing everything play out exactly as her young lady had predicted, Chu Yu's anxious heart finally settled. Since that is settled, I have a second matter to discuss. Please hand over the servant contracts for Song Kai and the others. Out of the hundreds of dowry servants and stewards, how can she only want these few? If word gets out about this, people will actually think I've been mistreating them. The county princess truly wants to keep them all, but sadly, the rest of them are entirely devoted to you, madam. Her ladyship doesn't want to force anyone against their will, so she is letting them return to serve their former master. As for the duke's estate right now, how could we possibly need so many hands, since they were already given to the county princess as her dowry? There is absolutely no reason for them to return. Lady Anne took a slow sip of her tea, feeling quite smug that she had finally won a round back. Nanny Zhao. Go fetch the hundreds of servant contracts that were given to the county princess as part of her dowry. Bring every single one of them here. Now then, Miss Chu Yu, you can either take all of them away or leave them all right here. You figure it out. The young lady definitely doesn't want those backstabbing traitors, but if she refuses to take them, Lady Anne will absolutely never hand over the contracts for Song Kai and the others. Oh, what on earth should we do now?